So let me ask you a question. How do you really know if the person you're talking to online is, well, a person? In a world where AI can spin up a fake identity, a deepfake video, or 1,000 bots in a blink, the very idea of trust on the internet is starting to feel a little shaky. So how do we fix it? How do we build it back? That's the billion-dollar, or maybe the trillion-dollar question we're going to dig into today. You know, back in 1993, this cartoon absolutely nailed the vibe of the early internet. Anonymity wasn't a problem, it was a feature. But that's because the internet just wasn't built with any kind of real identity system in mind. And what started as a kind of charming idea has now spiraled into a massive foundational problem that's costing all of us way more than you'd think. Because today, that lack of trust has a price tag so big, it's hard to even wrap your head around it. We are talking an estimated $10.5 trillion lost to AI-powered fraud every single year. So, bots, scams, fake accounts, they're not just annoying spam, they are a legitimate threat to the global economy, and they put every single one of us at risk. And we all feel this, right? Every single day. That moment where you're staring at a grid of blurry pictures, trying to find all the traffic lights or all the crosswalks. You're literally spending your time proving your own humanity to a machine. It's this frustrating, ridiculous loop. But what if there's a way to just break that loop entirely? This is where it starts to get really interesting. There's a new kind of proof emerging, one that completely flips the script. The whole idea is to solve this massive trust problem without making us give up our privacy to do it. So think about this for a second. What if you could prove you're old enough to get into a bar without ever showing your ID, without ever telling them your name or your address or even your actual birthday? You just prove the one fact they need to know. You're over 21. The technology that makes this possible sounds like something out of science fiction. It's called a zero-knowledge proof, or a ZK proof. It's basically cryptographic magic. It lets you prove you know a secret without ever revealing the secret itself. So how does this actually work? It's really a simple three-step dance. First, a website gives you a challenge, like, hey, prove you're over 18. Second, your phone does its magic, and it generates this tiny little mathematical proof that says, yep, this person meets the condition. Your actual birthday is never seen, never shared. And finally, the website just instantly verifies that the proof is legit, and that's it, it's done. Your privacy stays completely locked down. So ZK proofs are this amazing piece of tech. But how do we actually apply this to the real world? How do we use it to prove you're a unique human online? Well, this is all about making a huge shift away from the old invasive stuff we've all just gotten used to. Just look at the difference here. The old way, well, you know the drill. Handing over scans of your passport, giving your face scan to some company, and just praying they don't get hacked. The new way, the billions way, is a complete 180. Zero personal data is ever shared. You control everything. You can prove you're a unique person to any app anonymously in seconds. You are in the driver's. Okay, but does this actually work in the wild? Let's look at a real-world example. A crypto project called Sentient wanted to give out free tokens to its real community members, but they had a huge problem. How do you stop 1 million bots from showing up and grabbing everything? They were stuck, right? They could either force everyone to go through invasive know your customer checks, which goes against the whole privacy ethos, or they could just get swamped by bots. So instead, they used Billions' proof of uniqueness. It took users just 10 seconds to privately prove they were a real person. The result? The bots were shut out, the real community got the rewards, and not a single piece of private data was compromised. The takeaway here is huge. You don't have to choose between fairness and privacy anymore. Okay, so we figured out how to verify humans. That's awesome. But what about the other side of the coin? What about the millions and millions of AI agents that are about to start running around the internet making decisions for us? I mean, just imagine this. You have an AI agent go and execute some complicated trade for you. It messes up. You lose 50 grand. Whose fault is it? If that agent is totally anonymous with no way to trace it back to its creator, well, there's no accountability. Your trust is completely shattered. And this is exactly why this idea of Know Your Agent, or KYA, is so important. You can think of it like a digital passport for every single AI. It cryptographically ties an agent back to the person who built it. This creates a public track record, a verifiable reputation. For the first time, it gives us real accountability for AI. And look, this isn't some niche, futuristic idea. Major institutions are already jumping on this. Sony Bank is using ZK proofs right now for customer verification. HSBC, one of the biggest banks in the world, is using it to make their systems safer. European clinics are using it to protect super-sensitive patient data. When the heavy hitters in finance and healthcare are all in, you know this is where things are headed. So when you can reliably verify humans, and you can reliably verify the AIs that they build, you suddenly have the two core ingredients for something way, way bigger. You have the foundation for a whole new kind of economy, one that's actually built on trust. Look, the first step is just simple verification, but the long-term goal, the real game changer, is building a trusted, portable reputation that you own and that you control. A reputation that follows you everywhere online, proving your credibility, whether you're a gamer, a developer, or a trader. And this is not some distant dream. This network is already scaling like crazy. We're talking over 2 million users who can already prove they're human privately. Almost 1,000 different projects are already plugging into this technology, building on top of this new trust layer. The momentum is real. The roadmap for this future is really clear. It all starts with phase 1, just drawing a clear line in the sand between humans and machines. Then comes phase 2, building that reputation layer that links humans and AIs together. And finally, phase 3, the endgame, a global trust economy where our digital selves are just as rich and secure as our real-world ones. Which leaves us with one last big important question to chew on. As AI gets unbelievably good at doing everything, writing, coding, creating art, a lot of the skills we value today might become, well, common. So in that future, what's going to be your most valuable asset? Maybe, just maybe, it'll be the one thing an AI can't just fake. A long-standing, verifiable reputation that's built on trust.